Welcome to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. From the latest NBA news to the gridiron and beyond, we are diving deep into the headlines that matter most to you. Today's show is proudly brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, your local experts in digital marketing and audience connection. Before we break the huddle, do me a huge favor. Head over to YouTube and subscribe to The Answer Now TV. Don't miss a single highlight, interview, or heated debate. The clock is ticking, and the game is on. Let's go.
All right, it is the Friday drive here on the Sports Answer. Rudy Campos alongside Derrick Gervin, UTSA Hall of Famer, former NBA player, Mr. Derrick Gervin. Derrick, it's a lot going on in a week since we've been on the air, and we're going from injuries to maybe Spurs fans panicking to who's going to win game 3. I mean, we've got a lot of questions. And before we get those answers, for all you out there, welcome to the Friday Drive Sports Answer. You're going to see a poll at the top right of your screen. How do you vote? All you do is go to the comment section. You drop a 1 for yes, a 2 for no. The simple question, do the Spurs win game 3 tonight? Simple yes or no. If it's a yes, you drop a 1 in the comment, you get your vote in. If it's a no, drop a 2 in the comment, get your vote in there. That poll is going to be up all show long with myself and Derrick Gervin. Derrick, crazy week so far, I think, since we've been back on the air.
Crazy, but exciting. So let me say good evening, everybody. Yeah, it's going to be a good show today. Rudy, NBA playoffs are here, and I'm loving every minute of it.
I don't know if the fans in New York are loving it so much because you and I both had the Atlanta Hawks, and here we are sitting 2-1 over the Knicks. But before we get into playoff basketball overall, the talk, because we got a whole lot to talk about when it comes to that. We've also got a little bit of NFL talk. The draft was last night. Maybe a little bit. I kind of got a little upset at the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I got a little upset about one of their picks they did with it. But before that, we've got 2 segments today. We're going to have 2 Spurs Cheesemas segments. So it's everybody's favorite segment. We're going to get to it first right away. The first Spurs Cheesemas segment, let's get into it.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Cheeseman. Dime, por favor.
All right, so we're talking about the Spurs Cheeseman here. First things first, 6th man of the year. Keldon Johnson, the only Spur other than a lefty, a guy that was pretty good in San Antonio. He had a decent career. Manu Ginobili was the other 6th man of the year in San Antonio Spurs history. Congratulations does go out to Keldon. There was a time where I remember I told you on air, on the radio, and I said, Derrick, I think we've kind of got everything we got out of Keldon. And he may be already hitting the ceiling. I don't know if we get any more. He ended up going to the bench, and I was wrong. He blew through that ceiling, and here he is, 6th man of the year. But then you got people criticizing it. Wait a minute. Jaime Jaquez had, the most points, rebounds, yada, 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 yada. But before we got on air, I asked you, doesn't winning mean anything? Because when you talk MVP, when you talk other awards, the first thing they look at are, how did they do as a team? Well, Spurs, if I'm not mistaken, were 2nd best in the league. More deserved, or do you think maybe Jaime should have got a little bit of love?
Well, Jaime Jaquez is a really good player. He had a good year. Nikhil Walker is a good player. Cousin of Shea. We all know he's a good player. And they both had great years. But Keldon Johnson was part of the glue this year for the Spurs. If you look at it, they had some injuries over the course of the season.
Yeah.
Dylan Harper out of the lineup. Victor in and out of the lineup. You had guys out of the lineup. But through it all, Keldon Johnson was an energizer bunny off the bench.
Yeah.
And people need to give Keldon a little more respect. I don't know if people remember. I'll say about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
He was leading the team in scoring.
21, 22?
Yeah, 20, 21 a game. And so he stayed the course. Him and Devin Vassell now have been here for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I think Keldon was spectacular all season long. I didn't see anyone that I could vote over him as best sixth man of the year. So I'm going to say shout out to Keldon. I see all the guys came out with the cowboy hats to represent him.
We should have had some.
And way to go, Keldon. Congratulations. And I think it's an honor well earned, my man. Way to go.
I think what I made a comment on X, and I said, I've been able to talk to Keldon his rookie year. I did an interview with him, at a past show that I was on. Very nice guy, very humble guy, very hardworking player. And I made the comment. I said, you know what? When I posted it, this probably won't be the only one he wins. I mean, look at the way he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see another guy coming off the bench outside of Jaquez and maybe a couple other guys who can play exactly the way Keldon has been playing. But he's been doing this year after year after year. So can you maybe say this is the only one he's going to win in his career?
Well, he also trimmed down.
Yeah.
Lost weight in the last couple of years. And it's made him a better player. His stamina's better. He moves around the floor better.
Yeah.
He's strong as an Adrian Dantley, strong as an Ox. And he can also run the floor. So that makes him a very valuable asset for the Spurs. He improved his three-point shot last year before last. He started putting more arc on his three-point shot.
Yeah.
And so he's continued to work, hone his craft, as they say.
Yeah.
And so everything that he's getting now is things that he's earned. He's worked really hard. He's a great guy here in the community. They love him in the community, similar to Patty Mills when he was here.
Oh, yeah.
So people have grown accustomed to Keldon being a San Antonio Spur. I'm glad he's a San Antonio Spur. He's a hard worker, and even better than that, if you remember, I told you I met him a couple years ago at Main Event. We had a bowl-a-thon.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, right away when I talked to him and his brother, I said, this guy's a keeper.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad to have met him, been fortunate. And, man, I think he represents the San Antonio Spurs organization very well, and I'm glad that he's here.
Lots of praise coming from Derrick Gervin and the Gervin family in general, just giving lots of Keldon praise here. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the Friday Drive. Jacob Erickson here. Also, JC, the team-man, says, go Spurs, go. Glad to time share with you, gentlemen. Spurs in Focus, which, again, shout out to Spurs in Focus. You can catch Spurs in Focus on Answer Now TV. And quick, before we get into that comment, Derrick, here, shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. You need the brand. You know what? They're not even going to get you the sixth man of the year, Salem. They're going to get you the MVP. They're going to get you the ring.
Right.
They are going to be the all-time winningest organization, Salem Surround. They're going to help your brand get to that level. Call them today, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsor over here at The Sports Answer and on the Friday Drive. So Spurs in Focus, Jeff Garcia says, y'all really think Dame's going to come back in this series? Blazer social media teasing it, Splitter insinuating maybe he might be back, etc. I don't see Dame coming back this series. If he does, it's game 6, game 7. But again, a year out from an ACL injury, Dame is not Adrian Peterson. He's not Jason Tatum. He's not coming back with a quickness. It's just smokescreen. It's got to be.
It is. A lot of these coaches throw those kind of things out there. Try anything you can to get under the other team's skin.
Yeah.
And I think this is what this is about. Dame's not ready to suit up in this series. I don't even know, be honest about it, will we ever see Dame play again?
Oh, that's a breaking news right there.
Yeah, but we don't know because they brought him back. I think that was a courtesy thing because of all the things he's done in the community in Portland.
Yeah.
But to come back and play, I don't know, because sometimes they just bring you back so that you can retire with that team as a Blazer. And so we don't even know what Dame, how he's going to look when he comes back or if he comes back. So, no, I don't believe it. I just think Tiago's just throwing it out there to get the Spurs something to think about. But I don't see Dame Lillard walking through that door anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think he comes in for the series. Now, if the Blazers were so happen to beat the Spurs, maybe he'll come sometime later on in the playoffs, but I don't see it right away at all. Jeff's also saying, okay, so Keldon Johnson's the sixth man of the year, but he's been a ghost against Portland. I mean,
a ghost?
He's been kind of struggling against Portland, but I mean, it goes back to what I kind of said to you the other day. these starters are playing 32, 33 plus minutes a game. So there's not a whole lot of minutes that what Keldon was used to playing like in the regular season. But I don't know if he's actually ghosted. I mean, I don't think he hasn't played great, but he hasn't played bad.
Over the course of the year, Rudy, I've told you this story before. Some days we didn't even know what city we were in. So you don't take the games as serious when you're playing against a Portland in the regular season.
Yeah.
When it's different when you're playing a team night after night or the night and then 2 nights later you're playing that same team.
Yeah.
7-game series. I don't go by the regular season. I think Keldon's is a guy that's smart enough to make adjustments. I think Mitch Johnson is smart enough to put him in positions to succeed. And so I don't go by what happened in the past this season. Yeah. I'm looking at what's happening right now. I think he's going to have a big game tonight. I expect the Spurs to go up 2-1, and we just get ready for the next game. But tonight I think Keldon will play well. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a 20-pointer tonight, 20 points, 6 rebounds. I could see that, and a Spurs victory.
Keldon gets 20. They win by at least 10, 11 points. It's pretty much a blowout.
I can see that tonight.
You know, guys, we have a poll out there. If you see on the top right of your screen, poll question is, do the Spurs win game 3 tonight? Is the poll question. The way for you to vote is go into the comment section, drop a 1 for yes, a 2 for no. It'll get registered in our poll here. We're proud. Sponsored by Salem Surround. Again, 210-526-3635. Shout out to Keldon Johnson. Again, congratulations to Keldon. Huge honor for him to win that. But another part of the segment we're going to get into, we've got another Spurs Cheesemate segment later. Don't worry, guys. We're getting one now. We're going to get one later. But the biggest cheesemate out there, Victor. And we saw the hit that he took. You know, he fell down, hit his head, concussion protocol. 48 hours before you can do anything, he made the trip, which surprising me because I've read and I've heard when you've got a concussion, a lot of times doctors don't want you to fly for up to maybe a week after that concussion. So made the trip, shoot around this morning, listed as questionable. I'm going to put you on the spot. I don't know. Unless it's come out right now, I don't know. Does he play? It's not the question of do you want him to play? It's the question of does he play?
Tonight, I'm going to say no. I don't even think you take the chance. You're looking at talking about your franchise player. And I believe really, even if the Spurs were to lose this night, which I don't believe, they've played quite well when Victor was out. Yeah. And I think either with him or without him, they're capable of winning tonight. I say 100% for me, he's out tonight. Yeah. And then you give him a few more days to get well. And you have to remember how fortunate he was as well. A face fall, he fell a face plant basically, right?
Yes.
And he was fortunate. It almost reminded me, they felt a little different, but if you remember when Derrick White a couple years ago,
yeah,
when he fell and knocked it and his tooth came out,
yeah,
it kind of reminded me of that. But the way that Victor fell was scary.
Yeah. And
he hit his head like 2 or 3 times, the front. And so I think you have to err on the side of caution. I can't see him playing tonight, even if he's suited up.
Yeah.
Which I think a guy like him, you can't even let him suit up because certain guys like a Kobe or Iverson, whoever it may be, you can't let them suit up because they're going to try to pressure you to play.
Yeah.
So tonight, I believe he sits on the bench as a spectator, hopefully in his street clothes, and we get ready for game 4. But no, I don't see him playing tonight.
Chris Leha, who's been a big supporter of us here at the Sports Answer for many, many years, says Spurs by 10. He's asking a question. Do you think Spurs by 10?
Yes.
I think I would go with that too. I think the panic time that we've seen out of Spurs fans, it's just panic. Go downtown, grab a drink, relax. It's not going to be that bad. The Spurs are still going to get the series. I think they said they win tonight. The thing that we've got to take away from game 2 was Victor goes out. I think they lose focus. There were spurts where they were just dominating Portland. But then Mitch Johnson had the rookie coach mistake and said, well, if I'm right, Carter Bryant grew 4 or 5 inches. So he's about 7'2" now, 7'1". So he's going to be my 5. No, Carter Bryant isn't that tall yet. And he's not going to be that tall. So You and I talked again, and I've even mentioned it to Spurs in Focus as well. Mitch Johnson got outcoached by Thiago in game 2 for the simple fact that Mitch didn't play the guys you went and got at the offseason.
Biyombo,
Olynyk.
Mason Plumlee, Kelly Olynyk. They're over there.
Did he forget he had other 7-footers on the bench? I mean, the thing is, the Spurs lost the game due to rebounding, and Portland is the number 1 team on second chance opportunities. That should have told you Carter Bryant, as great as a rookie as he is this year, is not going to out-rebound Donovan Clingan. He's not going to out-rebound Williams. It's going to be tough for him. And they're not even getting rebounds. They're just popping it back out to the open guy. They're finding him. And that's the thing. You give Portland multiple chances, they're going to end up knocking him down. So I think Mitch has to make that adjustment. Do you think Mitch makes that adjustment tonight?
I think the guys make the adjustment. I don't even think some things that are out of a coach's hands, I'll say, right?
Yeah.
You have to look internally at yourself in the mirror, and you have to come out and want to do better, better efforts. I even watched C.J. McCollum on an interview earlier.
Yeah.
And I heard him say something that I thought was spectacular. He even mentioned on himself not diving for a loose ball during the course of the last game. And how important, every play is.
Yeah.
I think the Spurs, I still have to go by what they've done over the course of the year. They've been very consistent. They're not a team that's been losing 2 or 3 games in a row this year.
Yeah.
With or without Victor. So they've made the adjustments. And I think they make the adjustment tonight. I think they rebound the ball, which means put your body on someone first, block out first. I think they do that tonight. I think Harrison Barnes plays a major factor tonight. And 107-97 or 107-98 Spurs.
We're getting the predictions early tonight. We were going to wait for that, but you gave me 107-97.
Or 98.
98. So you said it's going to be less than 10. Leja's going to be mad because he said Spurs by 10. But I think one key tonight, and I'll give you my one key right now, and we can give more keys later. I think Dylan Harper has a good game tonight. It seems like when he has a decent game or a kind of an off, game by his standards, he tends to come back a little stronger. And I fully expect him and Keldon to have different games tonight. I think Dylan had 10 the last game, but I could see him going for 17 tonight. Keldon, I can see him going for maybe 16, 17. I even think De'Aaron Fox, who's been known to be a Portland menace,
25,
maybe 25, 24 tonight. The only guy I see struggling tonight is Vassell. I think he's got a great season, but lately it's just kind of feels like Devin has, I don't know if he's hit a playoff wall in 2 games, if you want to call it that, but can he kind of bounce back? You think it's just something about it that I have a bad feeling with Devin right now.
He has to get back to a couple times, putting the ball on the floor.
Yeah, I think that's what's missing.
Yeah, he gets in the habit sometime of settling for the jumpers, even the catch and shoot. And some of those shots are long shots.
Yeah.
And so he has to make the adjustment. I believe he will. I believe in the Spurs. I mean, Dylan Harper. He hasn't really had many bad games this season if you look at his overall play.
No.
He might have not been a big part of the offense that day as like he is some nights, but overall, he brings something good to every game, whether it's deflections, steals, or causing altered shots. He does a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to play well tonight. I just want to see them one game turn. I really want to see this. I want to see Mitch one game turn De'Aaron Fox, Harper, and Castle, turn them loose.
Yeah.
And let them go out and lead the team. And that's your backup plan in case Victor does get hurt and has to sit out. You got to figure out. That's what I think hurt them the last game. Once Victor went out, they didn't make the adjustments. They didn't know who's going to be the next guy that's going to step up now that Victor's out. Who becomes that 1A guy? Who becomes that 1B guy?
Yeah.
If you look at them, that's the only thing they really haven't figured out this year. You can't say it's definitely Fox tonight or it's definitely going to be this guy tonight. We need to know the pecking order. And I think that hurt them in the Portland game because when the game's on the line, who's gonna have the ball in their hands?
Fans expect it to be De'Aaron Fox because he got a payday and he's the max guy. Which again, I argue the fact with fans. I'm like, you can't point the finger at De'Aaron Fox every time just because he's getting $60 million a year because he's a max guy. Who cares? He got his money. Castle's going to get his money. When Castle gets his money or when Victor gets his money and they have off games, are we going to say trade Castle, trade Victor? They're trash. They don't belong here. We're paying them max dollars and we're getting 12 points a game. That's not right. I hate that he's become the scapegoat because of the money that he makes. You can't blame a guy. He deserved the contract. The Spurs gave it to him.
Remember, a lot of people were throwing him under the bus when he got hurt during the season.
Yes.
And they were already, ready to supplant him with with Harper.
Yeah.
And Bryant, whoever else. But Fox is a guy that I believe in, even when I told you that he was coming here.
A year before he did.
I really believe he fits here.
Yeah.
Even with the young guys, I believe he's a good role model for those guys. He's a good guy in the community. He's not a troublemaker.
Yeah.
And he seems to be a leader. He's not the guy that you're going to hear yelling and all that out on the floor like a Draymond.
Yeah.
But he leads in his own way. And then we know in the fourth quarter, there's only certain guys in the fourth quarter that have had a history. We're talking about guards in the last several years where they deliver in the fourth quarter. There's been Chris Paul.
Yeah.
There's been De'Aaron Fox has been one of those guys.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson. Those have been the guys that have been known and now put in one of the last one, Dame time.
Yeah.
Those guys have been known to do it when it's necessary in the last 4 or 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Which they call winning time. So I'm thankful we have a De'Aaron Fox as well. I think he plays tonight. Like I said, 25. I could see 25 and 7 or 8 assists tonight from De'Aaron Fox.
I hear you on that. Let me get to a couple of comments here. We've got Miss Reed saying hello to us out there. Thanks. Shout out for her because I am Refocus Radio as well. Leha basically saying, Spurs are worried about the Blazers. Why rush Wemby? Imagine against the Wolves and Nuggets going to be more physical. I can totally understand that. Says Jacob saying sit Wemby if we win. Great. Sit him again if we win. I can kind of get behind that. We got a shout out here, and I got to read the shout outs here. Shout out to Rudy and Derrick, always keeping it true and honest. We never say anything for the kids or for clout or anything like that.
Wow, thank you.
That's a good compliment. We don't ever say anything like that. And Miss Reed's back in here. True Derrick, Spurs have been consistent. And yeah, I mean, yeah, it's consistency. It's the Spurs. They haven't lost more than 2 games all year.
All year.
I mean, they've lost. And the funny, because when they've lost, entire San Antonio, the city starts burning. And we need to get rid of the team. Send him to Austin. Oh, De'Aaron's terrible. We got to get rid of him. And then they come back, and guess what? They lost again, back-to-back nights. Oh my God, Derrick! You know what? Peter Hall, you got to move him. We can't have him here. Then they go back on a 5-6 game winning streak.
When they lose, and it's ironic, they're playing who? The Portland Trail Blazers.
Yeah.
And when they lose, they come back blazing saddles. And they've done that all year. So it's ironic they playing the Blazers. Tonight, I expect the Spurs to come out like blazing saddles. And we go up 2-1 tonight. And I believe that's what happens.
It could be worse. They could have Tom Dundum as their owner and make them check out of the hotel at 11 o'clock. Or, you know what, Spurs fans, you may not even get T-shirts anymore if he was the owner, because he's definitely trying to save a buck there. That is for sure. So, yeah, we got more Cheeseman coming to you later on here. We're going to look into more NBA stuff here. NFL draft was last night. We'll get into that here in a little bit. I got a big topic for you when it comes to officiating. I think we're going to wait till after the break on that. The next grab. I got to ask you, the series that you and I said, the series of all series, Denver, Minnesota. Denver's down 2-1. The sports question that we need the sports answer to that was asked to me, is Denver's title hopes done for the season? They've looked pretty bad. They've looked terrible in these last 2 games. They've looked really bad.
I don't even think they look terrible. I think Minnesota has looked that good. A lot of times, people talk about teams going into shooting slumps or players going into shooting slumps.
Yeah.
They're not really going into shooting slumps. It has something to do with the defense, the people on the other end of the floor that's guarding them.
Yeah.
So we've seen Denver, a lot of these shots they make. But if you look at the way they're playing, they're getting over the screens. Minnesota, you got Jalen McDaniels fighting to get over these screens.
Yeah.
And using his length against Jamal Murray. They have Denver out of sorts, I'll say.
Yeah.
They got Jokic dribbling, having to put the ball on the floor. Rudy is long enough to contest, to just get close enough where he could just contest the shot if Jokic were to go to the perimeter.
Yeah.
And we look at him in the perimeter now, I think he's shooting like 19% or something from three.
Yeah.
So Rudy's playing him very well. When they put Julius Randle on him, they're crowding him. Sometimes they put McDaniels on him or Nas. They've got guys that are quick enough to just stay in front of him.
Yeah.
And make him shoot over you. And so they're not going for his fakes like teams do during the regular season. Every move that he makes, the counter turn, he turns this way, he turns back that way. They're not biting. They're just what they call walling up.
Yeah.
They're walling up on him.
Absolutely.
And making him shoot over. And so far it's been paying off. But to me, this is not an anomaly. We saw them do this 2 years ago against Rudy.
Yeah.
I mean, against Jokic. He missed 21 shots against them 2 years ago. He missed 19 shots against them in the last game this year. So it's not a coincidence. And Rudy's tired of people taking shots at him. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. And sometimes people talk like we're having a Kwame Brown conversation. And so I know that's motivation for Rudy. And right now he's accepting the challenge. And if he keeps playing like this, you and I are going to be wrong because we both picked Denver at the beginning of the year.
You said Defensive Player of the Year. I thought you were talking about me because I am tired of people taking shots at me. But then you said Defensive Player of the Year. I've never been a
Rudy. It looks like
they
figured Denver out.
Yeah, I think they have.
All you do is what you make. And I told you, and we laughed about it. Jamal Murray is having trouble even getting into the pick and roll.
Picking him up early.
They not even letting him get to the screen. He's 5, 6, 7 dribbles before he can even get to the screen.
Yeah.
That's going to wear you out, and that's going to take time off the shot clock. And then you end up taking bad shots, quick shots.
Yeah.
And so Minnesota has figured it out. And then Jaden McDaniels could be the winning player of the series. When he ended it in the fourth quarter with that off the opposite leg dunk, the guy who did all the talking, no one took him down on his way to the basket. No Detroit bad boys basketball. There's certain things you can't say when you're playing in the playoffs against a team.
Yeah.
And for him to basically punk their guys, say they're all terrible defenders, and then go to the cup like that or the basket like that, and you just move out the way basically while he throws it down, that's not a good sign moving forward.
Where's the enforcer at? Where's Frank Burkowski? Where's Bill Laimbeer? Where are these guys that would throw that elbow? I mean, give me Greg Kite. I don't care who it is. Give me anybody. Who, Randy Brewer? Was that another one?
Oh, shout out to Greg Kite. What's up, Greg?
I throw all the good names out there to everybody, man. We're not talking about the strongest man in NBA, Joe Klein. We're not bringing him up.
Well, another guy that I know. But Rudy, you look at him really. I like Denver.
Yeah.
Right. They look like a beaten team, even when Christian Brown. Because I also told you that Christian Brown has to play because he's kind of athletic and can get to the basket, right? So if you remember, he got to the basket and thought he had an uncontested layup.
Yeah.
Then here comes Jaden McDaniels, right?
Yeah.
Those plays like that take your energy. And especially when it's the guy who did the talking, calling you out, and then comes out and backs it up with a 20-10 game.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign for the Nuggets.
It's a terrible sign.
Aaron Gordon still hurt.
I don't even know if is it over? No, you made the comment about, the fourth game is going to determine because it'll either go up 3-1 or it'll be a tied series of 2-2, which I think gives Denver a little bit more momentum going in. Aaron Gordon playing game 4. Do you think that factors anything in for Denver before we move on here?
It depends on what Aaron Gordon are we getting. Are we getting a 70% Aaron Gordon? And I'm going to tell you, for me, the biggest problem for me with Denver Is Adelman as good a coach as Mike Malone? No.
No.
So
Malone won a title.
I loved his dad,
I mean,
Rick Adelman, and
yeah.
I love that this guy, young man's getting an opportunity, but I've seen him get out coached a little bit in this series so far. I think Chris Finch is winning the battle right now.
Yeah.
And so hopefully they can turn that around, but Denver's in trouble.
Leja's in here real quick before we switch gears here. He's saying that everyone was begging the star to play with the Spurs, to join the Spurs. Finally happened. He's talking about De'Aaron Fox. He needs to get paid, and now he's a problem when he has an off night. Exactly what we're saying, that fans are going crazy because De'Aaron Fox is getting all this money. Everybody wanted a Spur. Everybody wanted an all-star guy. They wanted a caliber guy next to Victor. And like Leja said, they brought him. They traded for him. They got him here. They paid him his money because he deserves it. They knew they were going to pay him. Now, when he has a bad night, everybody jumps off the bandwagon. That's just terrible.
Man, some of these people, and I love them to death. I'm glad they fans of the show and of the San Antonio Spurs as well, but I'm going to put it out there. Some of these people, man, they kill me talking about players having a bad game. Yeah. This is the NBA. What player that's ever played in the NBA or ever will play in the NBA is not going to have a bad game?
Everybody.
You're going to have bad ones. It's who bounces back. Mm-hmm. That's like me going, you go to the Y and you watch some of these guys with Lifetime Fitness, right? If you play bad on Monday, did that mean you don't come back on Tuesday?
No.
You come back on Tuesday to try to right your wrongs from the day before, right?
Yeah.
The NBA players are no different. You think De'Aaron Fox don't know that he didn't have a De'Aaron Fox type game? He's going to bounce back. You can never get mad because a player has a bad game if they're giving you maximum effort. And there's not a player on the San Antonio Spurs that doesn't give maximum effort. So sometimes your shot might be off, but when you're doing the other little things, you're never really having a bad game.
Yeah, you know who's never having a bad game is Salem Surround, proud sponsors of us, the Sports Answer. 210-526-3635. Got more comments there. JC's in here, says if they don't go 2-0 in Portland, I question their ability to win without Wemby. And it shakes trust in the run. Patience tells me the worst case, 4-3 Spurs.
4-3 what? 4 games?
7 games series.
Oh, no.
It's not going 7.
No, that's Victor or no Victor. No.
Yeah, the Spurs are way more deep and have a lot more than Portland does. They're gonna win tonight.
Don't panic after one game. That means you're panicking about Boston. You're panicking about Cleveland. I mean, you're panicking about Detroit. It's one game.
Yeah. Tim Gonzalez, your old friend of ours. Tim Gonzalez in here. He says, "What up, guys? How you doing, Tim?"
Shout out to the Duke Blue Devils. Let's Ariana.
Derek, not on the show. Not on the show, Derek. You got a Tar Heel sitting across from you. We cannot bring that team up ever again. And then one last comment before we move on here. Leja says, the youngins, they need to go outside and touch grass. Like they live too much on the internet, too much on Twitter. They'd never survive the 2000 Spurs. I mean, these guys would be going crazy. Crazy. I mean, could you imagine these fans pre-David Robinson? Holy cow. I mean, I don't know.
It's one loss. Man, we just tuning up. Sometimes you start off, and people have to also remember this. Some of these guys don't have experience. De'Aaron Fox is actually one of the most experienced guys on the team. You got the guys on the bench have experience like Plumlee, Olynyk.
Yeah.
But other than that, you only basically have Fox and Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
So it's not you got to give them time to grow. And sometimes you have to grow on the fly while you're actually playing.
That's both sides.
So they lost one game. Big deal. I didn't see any panic when they lost.
No.
And it's a game they should have won.
I saw more concern for Victor from his teammates than I did panic. I'm like, okay, we lost. Big deal. But the quick takeaway from that Spurs game before we get on here is this. You got a Scoot Henderson high school highlight game that you're not going to get 30 points from him every single game. You probably get the 18, the 19 from Scoot. Scoot had a game. If Scoot doesn't have a game and has a normal Scoot game, Spurs win. Scoot was just on fire, man.
Scoot didn't play that well in the G League.
Exactly.
And I'm a Scoot fan.
Exactly. I mean, he did not have a typical Scoot game. So Spurs fans, what did Aaron Rodgers say? Relax. Relax. It's gonna be okay. We got to move into a couple more playoff things before we go to our first commercial break. So we got the playoff prediction here. Derrick, I like to keep it real. Like the kids say, we got to keep it real. I'm not a really big LeBron guy. I'm really not. And when I need to clarify that, because I would hate for a buddy of ours, Eddie Johnson, who we've listened to on Sirius, I'd hate for him to come after me and call me a water boy because I don't like LeBron. But I love the game. I respect LeBron's game. One of the greats of the game. I won't say greatest of all time, but one of the greats of the game, hands down. I've been a fan of his in Cleveland the first time. When he left Cleveland and went to Miami, I gave up on him because of the character. I'm not a big character LeBron guy anymore, but I got to give him his props. Against Houston, no Luka, no Austin Reeves. Man, LeBron seems to be turning back the clock a lot in this past 2 games.
Well, he's playing against the right team, but I do have to give him credit. I'm tired of hearing about this 41 years old. We all know that.
Yeah.
But he's playing well. He's become the first option with Luka and Austin being out.
Yeah.
And he's not dominating the ball, though. I looked the other day. He had 10 assists. It was still the first half.
Yep.
So he's doing things that are helping make the team better. But I can't just put it on LeBron. Marcus Smart has been stepping up. A guy who I've loved since he entered the league. I don't know why people they've been sleeping on Luke Kennard.
Yeah.
I've talked about him since he came in the league. Other guys are stepping up. DeAndre Ayton is playing okay. But the question is now, if Luka comes back, I'm not even talking about Austin Reeves because I believe he'll play tonight.
Yeah.
But what do you do now? Because for me, LeBron is made for this series, playing against a team like Houston, right? But without Luka, how good would they do? How would they fare against OKC without a Luka Doncic? So, there's questions in LA still. They playing well, but how long can they go without Luka? And what chance would they have without him and Austin Reeves against OKC?
I mean, it's 0 against OKC without both of those guys. Even with both those guys,
still, right?
Maybe 30%. I'd give them a 30% chance of winning that series. It's OKC is, they're really that good. They can really focus on, the physicality, the defensive side of things. Obviously, one person can score the ball for OKC. I mean, they are a definite challenge to the Lakers, but I don't buy so much of the Lakers' success against Houston because Houston is probably the worst team in the playoffs.
Kevin Durant, poor Kev, man.
He's checked out.
I'm just watching KD's legacy get tainted, man, in the last couple months or a couple years. It's just, even I was on the bandwagon when he went to Golden State. I didn't care about him going. I'm not one of those people that tell you what you do with your career, right?
Yeah.
But to see how he's responded in OKC before he went to Golden State, to see how he responded in Brooklyn, and now we see the same thing in Phoenix, and now Houston, that's troubling for me. KD was looked at more of a player a few years ago. They were talking about his rim protection in Golden State, remember?
Yeah.
Now he's starting to head towards, he's just been known as what? Strictly a scorer.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching his legacy be tainted right now. And I can't blame anyone but Kevin Durant. He's put it on himself. And he's on Twitter all the time, these burner accounts and all that. When you do all that stuff, you can't have off games. You can't go out of the game mentally, take yourself out of the game mentally where you're out there pouting or you're over there hiding in the corner, stuff like that. So he's doing it to himself, and I hate to see it, but he has no one to blame but Kevin Durant.
I mean, I don't see them beating the Lakers now. I took Houston to beat the Lakers, but I didn't expect this Houston team to look this bad.
Sengun, who I didn't like ever since I saw him get afraid. He was so afraid of Draymond last season. Oh, man. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Jay season. And he says, not panicked by one game. I still got Spurs going the distance. Unlike Rudy, I've never said they're not going the distance. I've got the Spurs in 5. I can't believe you're calling me out like that. I never said that at all. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. Quick shout out. Breaking news. Hawks Nickeil Alexander-Walker was named the most improved player from the NBA. So congratulations out there. Tim is making sure I know it's Luke Kennard. I guess it's dominating the Lakers. I mean, Luke Kennard's been playing absolutely fantastic for the Lakers.
I want to congratulate Mr. Walker on that award, but I'm going to throw another name out there. We're talking about most improved over the season.
Yeah.
Who improved more than Jalen Duren? I'm just saying.
Not Nikhil.
So shout out to Mr. Walker, but Jalen Duren is when you're talking about really, really improved, and that's a guy that's doing it in the starting five.
Yeah, that is true. Clarify here, JC. When I said that, I didn't. Unlike Rudy with the Spurs going the distance, he said I had Denver beating the Spurs. Which, again, I'm not going back on my pick. I had Denver winning the title before the preseason, before training camp. I'm going to stick Denver winning the title, but if Denver can't get past Minnesota,
they're probably not going to beat the Spurs.
Yeah, I'll go get my Oberto jersey out and I put that on. You know,
that's
right now.
Fabricio, shout out.
Now I gotta wear my Dan Issel Nuggets jersey.
Oh, he's killing me over here.
What are you talking about? I know all these guys.
How about his teammate, the one who drove by me like 3 times, man? And I was still looking. I was like, where did he go? Kiki Vandeweghe, man. You hear me? Shout out to Kiki Vandeweghe. And you see me looking around? He drove on me like 3 times in a row in Madison Square Garden. I'm turning around. Where did he go? So shout out to Kiki and Dan Issel.
Dan Issel, Kiki Vandeweghe. We're throwing out Nugget names out there.
60 points right there, though. Those 2 guys together.
Yeah. And then we can't forget Alex English.
Well, I'm just saying. We're talking about Denver Nuggets, guys that put points on the board. You just named the 3 best. It's okay, Carmelo. It's okay, Iverson. You didn't put in enough time for me. So,
Lee, I mean, honestly, that's the top 3. But Carmelo and who we mentioned, Allen, they're not even above this guy, right? Can we not forget Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf?
Oh, boy. Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, another great.
I mean, the guy gave Jordan fits.
Yeah, everybody fits.
I mean, good God, for you kids out there, go look up these names.
Hey, Rudy, just real quick. This is really quick. You know, Mahmoud might be in the top 5 that ever played in college.
I can see
Leitner, Jabbar, Jackson, Chamberlain, Mahmoud, and whoever your 5th way may be. For me, it would probably be David Thompson, but I'm just saying that's a conversation.
That's a good conversation to have because I mean, at the time it was Chris Jackson, but yeah, I can't think of anybody else. There's really
Pete Maravich. That's about it. We got a couple guys. Maravich Calvin Murphy averaged about 40 or so, but I'm just saying overall, that's a conversation because he could be in the top 5 all-time college players.
Did you see the Pete Maravich clip where they said, hey, you know, he averaged 44 in college,
without the 3.
Without the 3, they went back and looked at a lot of his jump shots were beyond the arc. They said he could have averaged upwards of 60.
Yeah,
that year.
Remember, I've talked to Jason Maravich. Dad was putting up numbers, but we've mentioned some great names today, my man. And a shout out tonight. Let's go Spurs.
Spurs are gonna win. Spurs are definitely gonna win tonight. It's Derrick Irvin. It's Rudy Campos Jr. You are watching the Sports Answer, the Friday Drive edition of the Sports Answer. You'll catch us every single Friday. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Let's go to commercial break. And on the way back, Derek, we're going to have some NFL talk, quick NFL draft talk. We got more Spurs Cheeseman. The Cheeseman is going to be a little bit crazy because I'm getting kind of tired of the Duncan slander from the kiddos. I don't get it. And it's driving me insane. Maybe you can convince me that the kiddos are right. I seriously doubt it. But maybe you can convince me that the kiddos are right. Derrick and Rudy Campos Jr. Here's a commercial break from our sponsors over at Salem Surround.
You've been watching The Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Answer, the Friday Drive edition of the Sports Answer. Shout out to Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Where do you want to see us at? Well, you can definitely catch us on Answer Now TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We are over 4,500 subscribers on that already. We keep on climbing. Help us climb. We're trying to get to 10,000. You know what? If we can get to 10,000 on Answer Now TV, Derrick, I'm going to give away a free subscription to Spurs in Focus. I'm going to give a free subscription away to Spurs in Focus.
Like that. Two thumbs up for
that
sorry.
free.
2 thumbs up again. Did I break something over here?
No, you are completely fine. You are completely fine. You saw the NFL bumper. We also got, before we got the Spurs cheese, we got some more NBA talk. It's going to be some really back and forth talk that we're going to get into here. But real quick, we got the NFL draft that happened last night. And, Fernando Mendoza, we'll bring that up here, number 1 to the Raiders. No surprise there. This is not the year of the quarterback. Next year for me is the year of the quarterback when it comes to the NFL. The Raiders needed to get a guy. They got Fernando Mendoza. The one thing that came out was they came out and said Kirk Cousins is going to start for at least half the season. You think that's good? Because I actually like that. My problem is if the Raiders are competitive, then do you make Fernando sit the entire year if they're competitive?
Well, don't they have a guy they brought on board to help with these kind of things that sees greatness in these players before it happens?
He's a Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
He won a couple, I think.
So when you got guys like that leaning over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's like Tim Brady. Is that what it is? Man. Tim Brady?
When you got Tom, that makes things better. And I got to say this, I'm a Fernando fan, right?
Yeah.
Because, I liked Oregon and there were some other team, Miami, during the season.
Yeah.
But as I continue to watch the maturation of Mendoza, and I have to give a shout out to Kurt Signetti and his staff. They got that young man and they're part of it. He can't take all the credit, and he didn't take all the credit.
No. So
hopefully this will do something do something good for the Raiders. Because, man, they're mired in mediocrity. And it's been did you ever think you'd see this? And I know we got a lot of young people on here, but I have to go back real quick I'm a guy, I'm 63, right? I turned 63 a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I have to go way back to the John Madden Raiders.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, I'm just saying. It's been that long since the Raiders have really, 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 really been relevant.
Yeah.
So that's kind of remind me of the Knicks. We go back to 1973.
Yeah.
The Raiders, they have I wouldn't mind playing in Las Vegas now, but even in Oakland, right? They're legendary, but they've struggled over the years. And so to bring in Fernando, for me, I think that's only a positive. I think he has a very good future. I think he's a winner. And I think that's a good first step. That's a start. That's a starting block for the Oakland Raiders.
I don't think that the Vegas Raiders are going to get Fernando Mendoza. I don't think he's Joe Montana. I don't think he's, obviously he's not Brady. I mean, he could be, but from what I've seen, he's a winner in college, Heisman winner, national championship winner. He got it done in college. He took care of the ball in the red zone. I think he only had 1 turnover in the red zone. Great guy, great leader, but the ceiling for him, for me, he's going to be better than Phillip Rivers, I think. Could it potentially be maybe Drew Brees?
I have 2 guys right now I want to ask you about if you were to compare. One would be Penix.
I hate that pick.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And the other would be Caleb Williams.
God, 2 guys I don't like right now.
What I'm saying is we have to at least give him an opportunity, right? Because if you look at it, Caleb kind of had a pretty good year this year.
He did.
Above 2 guys' expectations, yours and mine.
Yeah, he did. He had a good year.
So when I look at Mendoza, and he says all the right things, seems to be the team player, right?
Yeah.
A guy with a personality, and personalities matter. You look at guys, there's a rare breed of when you got guys like Steph Curry that come around, right?
Mm-hmm.
You notice their temperament right away. Mendoza seems like that kind of guy to me. And I'm not talking about the talent wise. I'm just talking about as far as energizing other players.
Yeah.
bringing other guys along and letting them know that they're part of something that has the potential to be something special.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of that in him this year, man. And I think this might be one of the best moves the Raiders have made in quite a while.
They've made a lot of good offseason moves. Tyler Lindenbaum is going to be the center there. I mean, they've actually made a lot of good moves, and they can still make a ton of good moves in this offseason. I mean, Mendoza, you mentioned Caleb Williams, you mentioned Michael Penix. I never liked the Penix draft because you took him way too early. You had Kirk Cousins, who you just signed to a nice, massive contract, and you go draft Penix. The same situation happened this year where the Rams drafted Ty Simpson in the first round.
Yeah.
You have Stafford. Now, Simpson's a guy you could have got later in the first round, but they took him early, and Sean McVay wasn't very happy about it. And I immediately went on X and I said, this is reminding me of Atlanta picking Penix early.
You said McVay wasn't happy. Hell, how you think Matt Stafford? Stafford.
It's tough when you have to call Matt Stafford at home and say, Matt, you are still the leader. This is still your team. This is for when you get to retire. When you get a phone call that says this guy is for when you're ready to retire, that's code for you're pretty much out the door.
And I'm saying, look here, man, didn't I just win the MVP?
Yeah.
So don't call me telling me about you bringing in. I still have 4 or 5 year window here, dude. So I'm just saying, I don't like to move for that reason. Yeah. Not right after the man wins the MVP. Come on, man.
It's different. It's weird because I'm going to ask you the question before we go to the actual draft here. I'm going to ask you this question. Does it make Stafford feel better had Simpson been drafted in round 2 or 3? To me,
okay.
It makes a little difference because if you're drafted that late, then I'm thinking, all right, I need a backup. I have Stetson Bennett as my backup. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to play. I could use another backup. That's good, and that's a great pick right there. When you can give me another top receiver, another top offensive lineman, another defensive player for a already stout Rams defense, but you want to give me a backup quarterback in round 1. That doesn't tell me you want to win right now.
Who's not going to play at all if Stafford's healthy.
Barring injury, he's not going to play
at all.
I mean, that is so Atlanta Falcon of the Rams to do, because I was like, that is so crazy. Why would you do that? You have so many other needs other than quarterback, which you can get a quarterback later on. Or Derrick, next year.
Yeah.
There's a massive quarterback class coming out next year. Way better than all these guys right now. I don't know.
I got to ask you a quick question about Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Where do you rank him? Has he moved? Is he anywhere near Aaron Rodgers level of player? Not just talking about the MVP, talking about as an actual player, because Aaron is kind of starting to move into that Kevin Durant conversation for me. A guy who's he won the championship, but is starting to become kind of overrated. A few years ago, before the Mahomes came on the scene, they were starting to already supplant Tom Brady with Aaron Rodgers as the GOAT.
I think Stafford's better.
You do?
I think I put him over. I put Breeze over Rodgers. There's no doubt about that in my mind. I would put Stafford in the same category, in the same breath as Drew Brees.
Well, that's high praise, though.
I mean, I put him there. You're talking about a guy who literally broke his shoulder, went back into the game to make a pass when he played for the Lions to get a winning score, a winning touchdown. Shoulder was gone, but he demanded to go back in to at least make a pass or a handoff or whatever, and they won the game. There's very few guys that I've ever seen in the NFL modern day than Matthew Stafford that actually would do that. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger comes to mind. I mean, he would play a little bit injured, but you have to go back to the days of Steve Young when he would get beat around.
You're breaking my heart because you're not going back to the days of Jared Goff.
Oh my God! Should we light a candle for Jared Goff? I mean,
no, we should trade him for Matt Stafford. I love Goff, but we got to get him up out of there and bring Stafford back, man.
I don't think Detroit will take Stafford back because they just traded him away.
If they could get him, they would. They could, back.
But they're not gonna. They're not gonna admit guilt. There's no way.
I like Goff, but come on, man.
background because I mean, again, Detroit's another team that could have used a quarterback, and they may get one this year. I mean, obviously, but is it okay? Fair question, because I know we're talking NFL. Fair question. Jared Goff's unsuccessful year last year, due because of Goff or due to Ben Johnson leaving?
Combination of both. Because Goff, I mean, if you look at it, he's pretty much maxed out, don't you think?
He's hit his ceiling.
Yeah. So
I mean,
so that has nothing to do with Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ben Johnson, they lose something with Ben going somewhere else, and then him have to learn a new game plan with a new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
But Goff is becoming, to me, Paul George. I'm just putting it out there. Certain guys that they were very good players. You still don't know if they're on the fringe. Are they great or are they really good? And we even got guys like Brunson.
Yeah.
Is he a great player? Is he a good player? So that's where I look at Goff. We still haven't figured out, is he great or is he just a really good player?
Comparable? Is he Dak Prescott?
Oh, man.
I
don't even know if I believe I like Dak.
I do too.
I just think Dak's been given a bad deck every year.
Yeah.
And you look at it, every time you look at it, every year, the Cowboys come up with something. And I don't even have to get into Jerry and Steven.
Yeah.
I would think that I would rate Dak over Goff for sure.
I think so. I would go there.
Yeah, we're talking $60 million quarterback. I don't think Dak's worth that much, but I don't think any quarterback is. But
Goff better than Purdy?
I would say, he's better than Brock Purdy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So out of the 32 teams in the NFL, I mean, he's got to be top 10. If you're looking at it, maybe
15.
Top 15, maybe?
Yeah.
So he's better than half the QBs 15, in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the obvious, he's better. He's not better than Mahomes. He's not better than Dak. He's not better than
Burrow, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's not better than Jackson, Josh Allen. He's not better than those guys. But I mean, you could make cases he's better than so-and-so. He's better than so-and-so.
Is he better than that guy in Philadelphia?
Oh, man.
Jalen Hurts?
You know what? I'm going to say he is or equal to. I think so.
Oh, equal to.
Equal to. So
that's not really great when you come.
No, because I mean, Hurts is more tush push and Saquon.
Hurts is a game manager, one of the highest paid players. Well, what else has he? What else is he?
I mean, you're right. I agree with you. He's a game manager, but I mean, people hate that word because they call Brock Purdy that. There's Brock Purdy's a game manager. Well, technically,
that's what he is. That's what he is.
That's what most quarterbacks are.
Most of them. So I mean, I'm just saying. What else? Come on. What else? What else would Jalen Hurts be?
Well, he's about to find out how good he is.
He had a great agent.
I mean, we're about to find out how good he is because
we already know how good he is. So you just said it, how good he is.
But he's going to be missing A.J. Brown once he gets traded.
Even with A.J.
No, I'm saying when he's gone, he's probably going to be worse than Goff. I mean, Jackson Dart
Hurts
is on a better path than what Jalen Hurts is on right now.
They've won championships. The Eagles did win championships, so I'm not going to really totally rip into Jalen Hurts. But
Philadelphia is throwing
at the end of his career, a few years from now, we might be asking, was Jalen Hurts better than Bryce Young?
Oh, my God. Okay.
I said a few years from now.
Oh, man. Maybe Bryce Young could be better.
Well, that's my point. I think Jalen Hurts is maxed out already as well. We've seen the best of
So you
Jalen
think
Hurts.
Jalen's already hit the ceiling?
No question.
He's got no more left.
No. We've seen him. No.
I can't wait till we do our
First
NFL
of all,
shows.
if he had more to give, do you think Kelsey would have retired, first of all?
No.
Who doesn't want to win and then come back and win again?
Yeah.
So you got to look at the overall picture, and he's looking towards the offense. And you just mentioned A.J. Brown. They've had nothing but trouble, kind of like Burrow and what's the Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
That kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
That tears into a team. That starts to affect you in a negative way. And so eventually you have to, do something different.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, I've seen Jalen Hurts. What do you think? All of a sudden he's going to become first team all a Pro Bowler or something?
No, he's not first team anything.
No, well, there you go.
Wow. Jalen Hurts in the top 15?
If you go by the team results, yes. If you go by his result,
we'll go by the sports answer.
Okay,
results.
I'm gonna say another name. I mentioned Paul George, right? So I'm gonna go to the NBA again for Jalen Hurts.
All right.
Man,
James Harden.
Yeah, he named him.
I figured it would be James Harden. You and I think the same here. It's got to be James Harden.
So I'm just saying.
NFL draft results. You can see the draft results are being played. Here's the grades from Underdog. They're providing grades. Dallas Cowboys, they got Caleb Downs. They needed a safety in the worst way. Terrible pass, defense. So they ended up drafting Malachi Lawrence, at the 20th pick. Now, I caught flack because for me, on my draft analyst, Malachi Lawrence was a day 2 guy. Really high motor, really good guy. I just didn't think he was first round. If he was first round material, he's late first round material. I think there were better options. Keldrick Falk, I like a lot better right there at that position. I had guys come at me, they should have, they had the best player. He was the best player. Yeah. We really don't even know. He reminds me of, remember that Marcus Spears draft?
What was that last name, the guy's name you said?
Keldrick Falk.
Yeah, that's what people are. That's how the Cowboy fans feel about Jerry and his moves right now. So you heard that word clearly. Okay.
Yeah, well,
all right.
We didn't use that word. We're still on the air. We didn't use that word, but drafting him was more of that Spears and Ware type of thing. I think you could have got a little. I mean, maybe you couldn't have got a great player at that spot, but you know what? Okay, they got Malachi Lawrence. Great. Let's see how he works out. I think they could have got somebody better.
Did you hear the crowd?
Yeah, I heard the crowd on that one.
I just told you what most of them were saying.
Hey, after last night, Cowboy fans, it's like clockwork, Derrick. It is Super Bowl. They're buying their Super Bowl tickets now. They're getting tattoos of the Super Bowl logo. Cowboy wins. Everything is great in Valley Ranch after this draft.
Can you imagine if you would have gotten a tattoo like 15 years ago of the Cowboys and you were telling people how popular that tattoo was going to be in a few years? And then I'm sorry. And then here we are, 15, 20, 30, 33 years later.
It's bad there.
We're just on here having fun. I don't have anything against the Dallas Cowboys. And I actually think, on the serious note, that's the young man, you could have got him in the second round, but maybe they saw that they didn't want to take a chance on losing him.
Exactly.
So maybe they see something that we don't see. And then you got when they go to all these different events and they're running and they're jumping and all of that stuff.
Yeah, the combine.
Yeah, so you're doing the combine. Maybe they see something we don't see. But I do want to see the Cowboys kind of get back in the mix, Rudy, and that I'm serious about.
They will.
It's better for the NFL when you got a team like the Cowboys that's winning. It's similar to the Lakers in the NBA. We got Boston or the Lakers. And for me, I want to see the Cowboys. I want to at least see them be able to contend. I really do. I want to see Dak get a chance to go a little further. And I just want to see the Cowboys come out here and make the people happy, have a 12-13 game winning season.
Yeah.
And really have an opportunity to at least go far, man. And I think it's time.
I think you know what? I'm not giving them a bad draft grade. I've actually got them as an A on the draft board for me right now for those two guys. You made a good point, because one point I made was they could have traded down. Apparently, it came out after the fact that they did try to trade down to get more picks later on in the draft. They tried to trade down because they figured they could get Lawrence later in that first. No team wanted to trade up. So, yeah, if you're right, if you really believe in him, then you take him where you have to take him at. And maybe he wouldn't have fell to the second round. So, yeah, you're perfectly right on that right there. Other than that, Tim wants to know on the Jets. I think the Jets had David Bailey, I think, should have been the third guy option. Arvell Reese was probably the second guy I would have taken. But yeah, David Bailey was there. They also got Sadiq, and they got Omar Cooper from the Indiana Hoosiers as a wide receiver. So I think the Jets did a pretty good job there. I mean,
Aaron Glenn was. What do you think about Aaron Glenn?
He's going to be another coaching casualty. The way to fix the Jets is you have Garrett Wilson. He's one of your best commodities. I think you move him right away.
Bring in Joe Namath.
No, I think Joe Namath was overrated.
No, I said bring in Joe Namath. Yeah, but he won the Super Bowl.
He did, but I think it was an overrated guy. This is my Broadway Joe. I think, in my opinion, might have been a little bit overrated.
So you think they could have a decent year if you look at them right now?
They
didn't finish too bad. I mean,
I think with the draft that they've had so far, if they can continue it, I would say give them another 2 wins. I think they brought in impact players. I'm worried about David Bailey. I like the offensive moves. I like Sadiq in the tight end position for him. Reminds me, a lot of, the athletic guys, Brock Bowers and stuff like that. Then you added Omar Cooper, who's a great wide receiver to go along with Garrett Wilson. The offense will be humming. I don't know about Geno Smith. I mean, can we get Seattle Geno? Or are we going to get old school Jets Geno where it just didn't work out? If Geno can be back to Seattle Geno, Jets might win a couple of games here and there. I mean, they might win 2 more extra. Defensively, they got to improve somewhere on the defensive side of the ball.
How many wins, the 2 more wins, how many did that give them?
I don't even remember offhand how many they had last year.
3, 4? What I mean, I'm just saying.
I would say I would peg them at 6.
6 wins?
5 or 6 wins, maybe.
Wow. The New York Jets. Yeah, I could see that this coming year.
I think so. They've got a pretty good offense.
6-11. That sounds about right.
That sounds about Jet right there, pretty much. That's our NFL talk. We got some NBA talk, and then after that, we'll close the show with the Spurs, another Spurs Cheeseman segment. Here's the NBA playoff, or is it playoff talk? You know what? It is playoff talk. NBA playoff talk now. All right, so this is a big hot topic here in the NBA. Devin Booker came out, basically called out the refs. For everybody out there, you can see the comment that he made. Not going to read it because it's a very long comment, but basically, basically could be the WWE. If we're not careful. He called out a ref by names, James, as in James Williams, making bad calls. He got a technical foul. Alex Caruso asked for the technical to be called. Was not a technical. The NBA did what they do best. They rescinded the technical as of today. $35,000 fine, no suspension, no nothing like that. The NBA did say this. We did not find any wrongdoing by our officials, but we're rescinding all technical fouls. If you didn't find any wrongdoing, why are you rescinding anything, first off? But the problem I have is this. OKC has been a physical team all year long. They've been a very physical team. They've played defense physically. Every NBA team that has played against OKC has the exact same complaint. You allow them to be physical, but when we're physical, it's a foul. If I breathe on Shea, it's a flagrant 2. If I blink or I wink at Chet Holmgren, I'm damn near thrown out of the game. The physicality, I don't mind, especially playoff time. But the NBA is not going to come out and say we need to change the way we officiate, because then they admit guilt if they do that. What's got to be done? Because you don't ever hear Devin Booker talk like this.
Well, sometimes pressure will burst pipes. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. OKC has played this way all season. They played this way all last season, right?
Yeah.
Now it comes down to playoff time. Your team doesn't have a point guard, first of all.
Yeah.
So they're making it hard on you. Devin Booker is experiencing what Kevin Durant is experiencing against the Lakers.
Yeah.
They're sending a double team. They're making him uncomfortable, right? He's more of a scoring guard.
Mm-hmm.
They're making him have to make decisions. And it sometimes that can frustrate players, right?
Absolutely.
I didn't agree with the technical foul, but I'm not going to start trying to look for excuses either. If you know a team is getting physical with you, there's only so much the refs can do.
Yeah.
It's up to you to man up. So, Rudy Gobert can start, excuse my language, bitching about Jokic or whatever, or he can man up and accept the challenge. Right now, Devin, you look at it. What is Devin Booker? What is his history? Has he really been a guy that can carry a team over the hump?
No, and he made it clear.
Okay.
I've never won a title.
He's been like KD.
Yeah.
That's why I knew it wouldn't work when they went to Phoenix together.
Yeah.
So he's never been a winner. He's a very good scorer. That's all Devin Booker really is, another scorer, like we talked about KD. You have to find ways. It's up to the coach to put you in better positions to succeed, right? So that goes back to Ishbia, and his people that he brought along, and to bring in the coach. Right now is not the time for excuses. Now is the time that you have to pick your players up. You have to energize. If you start making excuses, to me, that's looking like you're setting yourself up for failure. You're looking for ways to bail out. So you can call the ref out, and that's fine. But you still have to show up and play in this next game. And that's where Devin Booker's focus needs to be at. They have to win this next game or they're getting swept. Referees aren't going to have anything to do with that. You have to bring it, and you have to bring it for 48 minutes.
The question I've got for you is, do we see the refs change their ways? Because we've seen it before where they get called out, they get told, the NBA get notified. Then the very next game, we see officiating go either fair or one-sided again. But what I'm getting at too is it's every team. OKC, they get to play their style. Dort gets to play his style. Caruso gets to get right up in you. Chet Holmgren can be physical. He can flop like he did the other night. It's every team that they play against that has the issues with it. So that's what I'm trying to say is not just Phoenix, but if you go into the playoffs, next they play the Lakers, and they play either, Minnesota, the Spurs, somebody. Do you allow the continuance of that where this team won't get those calls?
Okay.
It's kind of a handicap is what it is.
OKC wasn't the champion before last year, right?
No.
Okay. So they've earned the respect they're getting right now, right?
I will give you a check mark on that.
If you're upset about how they're getting away with physicality, why aren't you guys being more physical?
Because they can't.
Well, yes, you can. You're not playing OKC all the time. That's something that becomes something that you develop over the course of a season. It's no different than AAU basketball. When your team comes out, I'm saying,
okay,
you go out there on the floor, right?
Okay.
You developed an identity. We're going to be putting the wood on teams. We're a physical team, right?
Yeah.
The more physical you are, the more the refs let you get away with it over the course of a season.
Yeah.
So it's not like they just picked OKC out of a hat. OKC has earned the respect that they're getting. So you have to go match their energy. And if you can't match their energy, if you can't draft like Sam Presti, if you can't get the draft picks, that's not their fault.
And I agree with you on that.
Don't complain about it. Do something about it.
I totally agree because the comment that I made was they're going to get away with it and they're going to keep doing it until they get called out. It's taking advantage of a situation. So I completely understand OKC. Shea Gilchrist wants to elbow every player in the chest and face and get away with it. He's going to do it. Every player, every athlete will take advantage of every opportunity given until they are caught.
Where am I born and raised?
Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. So they have a team there called the Bad Boys, right?
Yeah.
So Michael Jordan could have bitched the rest of his career.
Yeah.
Or he could go get on the weights.
Yeah.
What choice did he take? He got on the weights so that he could take that pounding, right?
Yeah.
Why is it any different this era? Instead of complaining about it, I know one team that's matched the Oklahoma's physicality.
They beat them.
They right here in San Antonio. I'm sitting here wearing it right now.
Yeah, they've beaten them three times.
I don't hear them complaining about the physicality of Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Why is it always guys like Devin Booker, guys that have trouble when you put them in situations where instead of just being a scorer, now you have to start making other people better? That's not OKC's fault. So Jalen Brunson could start bitching when he get play against them. You didn't hear Jaylen Brown and those guys complaining because Boston's going to do what if they played OKC? They're going to match their physicality.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you're going to stop them. Complaining to the refs not going to do it. You got to kind of man up like Jalen McDaniels the other day.
Yeah.
That's the mindset Devin Booker needs to be taking right now. Instead of the bailout mindset, and he's sitting up there and Jalen Green sitting right next to him, quiet like a little puppet. They need to make something happen. Stop complaining. Get ready to put your hard hat on and get ready for the next game.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm pretty sure LeBron listens to this show, so he's probably gonna not like the fact that when he said this era of basketball is a lot harder to play than the 80s and 90s era of basketball.
Well, it's for me, it would be so much easier because all I could just walk out there and shoot.
Yeah.
Nobody
can touch you.
No you don't even really have to defend, be honest. The guys who really putting up the points, I know they talking about two-way players, but you have to play a guy like Luka when he's putting up 33 a game, right?
Yeah.
Because if they say he doesn't defend, and I go back to what I always say, they say my brother didn't defend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when George is averaging 33 a night, who's playing defense on him? I'm just saying. They never talk about that stuff. So you got to look at the other side. With Luka, he doesn't defend. He gets blown by. If he's averaging 33, 34, he's blowing by somebody as well.
Exactly. He's putting up a quarter of the points on the team. So, I mean, yeah, you leave him out there. But that's the thing with Devin. It's the complaint. It's the OKC. I'm on the fence with it. I understand where you're coming from. I understand the parts of the other teams because, again, let's call a spade a spade. We've done it here. We keep everything real on this show. If I have to adjust to today basketball, then, yeah, everything's a foul. Everything's a foul.
Look, man.
I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I know about fouls.
If you man enough to date a Kardashian, you better not be on television complaining about somebody. Man, you better man up.
Yeah. Yeah. And he couldn't get away with driving a lowrider in San Antonio.
Well, I'm just saying. And riding around. That's another thing. He riding around a lowrider. Look here, man. You from Flint, Michigan. You down the street from where I'm from. Don't you be coming on television complaining, looking for the ref sympathy or Adam Silver's sympathy. It's time to man up.
We got to move on to the last segment here. Another Spurs Cheesemas segment. We're going to get Derrick's opinion on it here. Rudy and Derrick, Sam's around 210-526-3635. Another Spurs Cheeseman.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Cheeseman. Nine, por favor.
All right, we like to end things on a bang here, and usually the Spurs Cheeseman is the last thing that we like to enter in here, so let me see if I can bring it up here. Let's get ready to PO everybody in San Antonio here because we like to do that here. But the question, the sports question that people want to know the sports answer to is, why is there so much hate for Timothy Duncan? Now, when I say that, it's because all the fans that are current fans who are 30 and under, roughly, I mean, give or take or so, they say Tim Duncan is the most overrated basketball player. He's boring. He's slow. He could not guard in this modern basketball. He would not be the best power forward today in the game. He wouldn't compete with the likes of Joel Embiid. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a way better player than Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is not an all-time great of the game. These are not my comments. I'm not dumb enough to make these comments. I've seen greats of the game. I've seen greats before Tim. I've seen greats during Tim. And you know what? I have not seen a player greater than Tim since he's retired. Why is there so much hate for Tim? It can't be just because he's boring.
Well, Some of those people never played blackjack. They don't know about the lucky 21, I guess, first of all. But I think it's because he's not flashy. And if you look at it, my brother's been one of the few flashy players here, right? Manu was flashy.
Manu, your brother, yeah.
And so there hasn't been a lot of players here that have been flashy. And when you look at it, guys like David Robinson, where they were very effective, but they weren't flashy players.
Yeah.
And if you look at it over the history of these last several years, the Spurs have been penalized. You don't usually hear them when they talk about the Spurs, when they mention the greatest teams of all time, like the Celtics with their 18 and the Lakers 17, the Bulls 6. They mention the Warriors. Sometimes they might skip over the Spurs.
Yeah.
And so Tim not being flashy, I think that's boring to some people. But people that really understand this game, for me, I loved watching him. You're talking about a guy that's 15-time all defense. A guy that led his team for every year that he played. They never lost more than 32 games.
He won
every year. They won at least 50. Every year. Every single year. See, let me show you how they disrespect the Spurs. Several days ago, they said about James Harden, 17 years.
Yeah.
And he's made the playoffs every year. But they leave out Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
A guy who's 15-time all defense, 15-time all NBA. And I've been on the floor with Tim his rookie season when he came here.
Yeah. So
I saw the transformation from Dave Robinson's team to Tim Duncan's team. Tim is a winner as a power forward or a center. He played both. So for some people to say he only played power forward, that's wrong. For those that say he only played center, that's wrong. He played enough time as a power forward to be considered in the conversation. So if you put him in the conversation, now you got to go with the guy who did it the best. If you put him in the conversation, and who did it better? No one. And I played against Karl Malone, played against him in college, played against him in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I played in Kevin McHale. Those are the guys I have in my top three. We just talking power forwards. I have Tim Duncan, I have Karl Malone, and then I have Kevin McHale.
There's no reason why he should ever be disrespected.
Now, Giannis, I love, and I know that's the new era, and a lot of them don't study or weren't alive when Tim played, or they were babies.
Yeah.
So this is not the best era, I'll say, as far as going back and studying, doing your due diligence, and really understanding the game. Tim Duncan is amazing. I'm a Gervin, and I'm saying that Tim Duncan is the best player that ever played in San Antonio. And if I'm giving him that over my brother, you better believe I think very, very highly of Tim Duncan. In my opinion, he is, without a doubt, the greatest power forward that ever lived that played in the NBA.
Yeah, so all you kids need to stop the slander. I mean, this is ridiculous. If you have that much hate for Tim Duncan, then there literally is something wrong with you. The internet's right there. YouTube is right there. You can easily just go back and look. You can Wikipedia the guy, and it's page after page after page. You're scrolling down from accomplishments, from what he's been able to do. You can go watch video. Yeah, he's not the most exciting player in the world. Who cares? He didn't do up and unders. He didn't do flashy dunks. He didn't shoot the 3-ball like that. You know what? He just dominated.
And when he was younger, though, he did go through his legs and around his back.
Yeah, he did.
So I think people forget that, even at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
So it's like some people have just totally forgotten. Tim had a bag, as they say today.
Just didn't need it.
Yeah, he just didn't need it. George had a bag. George held back so many of his moves when he came to the NBA.
Yeah.
And Tim's the same. So, though, man, you got to get Tim Duncan credit. Who Giannis, I love. I've watched all of these guys play, though. Tim Duncan is the greatest I've seen. I don't even, be honest, and people going to be like, who is this guy? I don't even have Tim. I don't have Giannis over a guy named Elvin Hayes.
No.
I'm just saying.
No. I wouldn't put Giannis over Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, so he's got a ways to go. Guys like Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, he still has some work to do. He's won one championship. We know that. But he's a guy that he's still not a very good shooter. His ball handling is not that great. I mean, they allow him to lower the shoulder if you look at the two moves that are the most obvious in the NBA, it's the Shea push-off and the Giannis
barrel
lowering that left shoulder.
Yeah.
So, Giannis is a great player, but Giannis is no Tim Duncan.
No, definitely not. We got a ton of comments before we go here. Chaos City forever. Talking about the NBA rule changes. Politics has entered the NBA. Players are complaining to get rules changed. That is what is the difference. Chris Leha, shout out to Leha. He always has supported us. Tim Duncan is the greatest player of all time and quite possibly the greatest athlete of all time. I won't ever argue with anybody on that. If you've got Tim number one all time, by all means, he makes a huge case for it. Derrick's going to cook. I can see it. Basically, you're going to cook all the kids out there is what he's basically saying. The younger generation has never got a chance to see Tim play. That's from Tim Gonzalez. That is a true comment. And then, of course, we got, Chaos City saying that Bronny James is the greatest of all time. Obviously making a joke there.
Shout out Bronny. Let's go, Bronny. The new, he's making Draymond look good. The new Mr. Triple Single.
Yeah. And, before we go, Tim Gonzalez again brought up a good point. I like what he said. So this will be, for example, Derrick Irvin could say that David was better than Bill Russell, but Derrick never saw Bill Russell play in person. So you're basically going off of the eye test, what you saw. Now he's not saying David is better than Bill, but he says that's kind of what Bill
Russell or Walton.
No. He said Bill. He would say that would be similar to you saying David Robinson is better than Bill Russell because you saw it with your eyes. And I get that. That's the reason why I separate this generation from ours, because I was able to see the 80s. I was able to see the 90s. I did my homework. I was blessed to have a dad who loved the game of basketball that told me about players when I was growing up. So I knew about all these guys. I would watch the videos. I would watch VHS tapes. I would, the video cassette tapes. I'd watch all those VCR. But I studied the game. I saw the best. I saw the greatest. I think that's what it is. It's more the eye test. These kids are like, I've never seen a player like Steph Curry before. Shooting wise, no. There's been great shooters in NBA history. There's been guys with quicker triggers than Steph Curry. There's definitely been that. It's not new to me. There's guys that say, well, I've never seen a player like Giannis. He's the greatest of all time. Well, no, I've seen players better than Giannis.
Seen players like Giannis.
You would think for a while there, Joel Embiid was like, oh my God, there's only one player that I've never seen before, and that is one Nikola Jokic. I've always told you, Arvydas Sabonis is the closest, but I never got to see. The only time I've gotten to see Arvydas Sabonis was on game film against David Robinson in the Olympics. That was, to me, that told me this guy's good.
That was an 18, 19-year-old.
This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, I saw Arvydas later in his career, but other than Jokic, I can't say I've seen not one player come through that I've already seen right now. I don't know if you know of a guy maybe that's playing now or past couple of years that you've never seen before.
Let's get ready to supplant who?
No, I'm just saying in general.
No, I have no. And then back to Tim Duncan.
You're still not over with Tim.
If we looking at if we look at the guys that are coming along now, right? The way the game has changed, you got more guys now that are 3-point shooters, right?
Yeah.
That's not it's a totally different game. So I kind of understand about comparing the eras. And even the Steph Curry, it's not fair to the guys back in my day, right? Because it wasn't stressed that we shoot the three. So to say that we wouldn't have been able to shoot the three is ludicrous. We would have been able to shoot it just like these guys if that's all we practiced.
Take out the hand check.
So, it's just a different game. So Steph is a great player, but, I played with Drazen Petrovic, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And I played against Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, those guys. So I've seen great shooters. I don't know what quantifies Steph as the greatest that we've ever seen, because I can't just go by him making a lot of threes if he's taking the most.
Yeah.
He's shooting. If you shoot 5 threes, Steph taking 17?
Yeah.
So you should get there quicker. In their primes, was he even a better shooter than Clay?
No, I don't think so.
Clay scored 60 on 11 dribbles.
Yeah.
So, there's different eras, but I'm going to stop comparing. And the gentleman that mentioned Bill Russell, David Robinson,
yeah,
I thought that was a fantastic one. because, you know, I'm a big Bill Russell fan. And so with the rings, I give him the nod.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about just player against player, I've been on the floor with Big Dave. Dave's a monster.
Better you than me.
Man, Dave's a monster. And I'm going to say this quickly, and I'm done with this Spurs stuff, right?
Yeah.
Is Tim Duncan really even better than David Robinson?
Oh, my God. Why are you going to end the show? We got like 20
I just want to give people something to think about. We're just being honest. It's not to slight Tim. I love Tim.
Yeah.
But when I looked at Dave, man. Dave was a freak of nature. He could run the floor. I told you he could walk on his hands from one end of the floor to the other. He won the sprints. Him and Kevin Willis used to win the sprints. You can't just judge him off that one series against Olajuwon. Dave was a monster, man, and an athlete. They talking about Tim Duncan. If Tim was an athlete, what about David Robinson?
You know what? Hold that thought. That's next week. Next week we're gonna upset Spurs fans here, hopefully, and then I'm gonna try to do some investigation after this. But next week, Spurs Cheeseman, David Robinson better than Tim Duncan. I like that. You
know how they talk about players that could touch the top of the backboard and grab a coin off like David Thompson and all that.
Earl Manigault could make change.
If those guys could jump up and grab a coin off, you think David Robinson couldn't?
Oh, I'm sure he could.
As high as he was jumping?
I'm sure he could. I'm sure he could. Oh, my God. Okay, we got one last comment here. It's Jacob Berg. Yeah. Next week, Spurs Cheeseman, I'm announcing it now. David versus Tim. Whew, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a real good one. Derrick Irvin, Rudy Campos Jr., your Friday drive. Again, we come to you every single Friday right around that 5:15, 5:30 mark. We're with you today for about an hour and a half, so you get a lot of sports talk. We cover as much sports for you guys out there. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button. You can catch us. You can catch the Sports Answer on Sundays. You can also catch Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia on Answer Now TV. Shout out Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here on the Sports Answer and the Friday Drive. You know what? You guys got those sports questions. Be sure to leave them. Be sure to leave them. Why? Because you're going to get the Sports Answer here. For Derrick, for Rudy, we'll see you guys next week.
You've been watching the Sports Answer, brought to you by Salem Surround. Salem Surround is proud to be San Antonio's premier digital marketing agency, offering a wide array of services like digital audio, email marketing, online reputation management, SEO, social marketing, and more. Visit salemsurround.com, San Antonio, and stay in the game.